5 common beginner badminton footwork mistakes. A lot of you are making footwork mistakes and you don't even know it. You're playing badminton and you're probably gonna get injured just like Shorya Joshi. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the 5 most important mistakes that you're making and how to fix them so that you can run footwork smoothly, effectively, and quickly. Tip number 1 is you are starting on the wrong first step. So I'm gonna show you a few wrong first steps. You tell me what's wrong, okay? Okay, can you see what's happening? Do you see what's happening? Oh, we need that. Okay? Now you might be thinking there's nothing wrong with these steps. I mean, you could run like this and still make it look okay like this, right? You're still moving around the court. But what are you missing? That is the split step. So the examples of the wrong mistakes I was making earlier is your first step, you are going right away with one of your feet, whether that be your dominant foot or your non-dominant foot. Why is this bad? Because by doing this, we are getting rid of our split step. And badminton is a sport where we need to move in directions very quickly. So why do all professional athletes use a split step? Because split steps allow us to adjust in every direction very quickly. And if we get it wrong, we can still come back. Now, if you didn't use a split step, for example, if you started on just your dominant leg, if I started going out this way, and then they hit this way, I'm screwed. There's no way I can adjust and go back. But if I adjust my split step this way, and then they hit this way, I can still push off in another direction. So how do we do this correctly? Instead of taking a first step with one of your feet, we have to imagine our first step is not the step out. Direction is the most important part for our first step. So what do I mean by this? For example, if I'm standing in neutral, ready position right now, if I wanted to head in the net shot of my backhand side here, so the 2 wrong mistakes is 1, you go with your left foot, 2, you go with your right foot, but what is correct is 3, you should go and change your direction first before you even take a step. So if my footwork is on my backhand net side over here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split step so my footwork adjusts in this position that I can just run. And once I'm in the position, then I come up and net. Remember, all the footworks right now I'm teaching you is more neutral to attacking footwork. You don't want to practice defensive footwork as much, especially if you're beginner intermediate, because usually what you lack is getting into position. So the first thing and most important thing about this first step is direction. So this side, direction, and then we go, okay? Backhand, it's direction, and then we go. Same for every direction. This side, we direction, and then we go, okay? For this side, we direction, and then we go. Now, it may look a little silly when we're turning first and then moving, but especially when we're playing and anticipating, it's super important. For example, if I'm anticipating, you're gonna hit a net shot over here, I'm gonna adjust, and then I come up right away. If I'm adjusting and anticipating you're gonna hit a backhand net shot over here, if I didn't turn first, then I would hit a defensive shot. But if I anticipated, I can turn first and then hit an offensive shot. Same for over here on the overhead side. I turn first and then I push off and go. Mistake number 2 is crossing your feet on recovery. So we've learned how to go out by split stepping your direction first before we go out. Now, a lot of people don't know how to come back, and I'll show you what I mean by this. For example, let's say we're moving to our forehand overhead side over here. So we turned, we shuffled, and we swung, okay? A lot of people, either they land in this position or they land in this position. And when they land, they might come back like this, okay? Or if they landed in the other position, they might come back like this. So if I come to this side, let's say our backhand, I hit my backhand, they might come back like this. Okay? So what I'm trying to demonstrate here is a lot of people, when they're recovering on their footwork, they have a tendency of crossing over their legs on their footwork, making it really easy to fumble. So if I come over to the net over here, when they come back, they might do a crossover footwork like this. Or if I come out to the side, they might be crossing over their legs. We want to cross over our legs as little as possible in badminton. Because the more we cross our legs, the more we're able to fumble. If I cross my legs this way, yeah, I can move this way, but if I ever wanted to move this way, I would just fall. If I moved this way, I would fall as well. Crossing legs, one thing it does is it provides you more coverage of distance. For example, on a defensive shot, if I wanted to run far, I can cross, and it covers the distance. But if you cross your legs, you have to make sure you're 100% sure you know where you're going. Other than that, covering defensive positions over longer durations, you mainly want to use these shuffles and hops more often. In the first mistake, I showed you the footwork where we turn first and then we shuffle. It's the same for recovery. On our forehand side over here, right, we turn, we come out. Now, how do we return? We don't return by doing this. This is how we ruin our position. We return by just taking a hop back, okay? Now we're back in position. Same for backhand side over here. We come out, we return, hop back. Same for every direction. Forehand defense, hop back. Backhand defense, turn back, or hop back if you want, if you do a left foot defense. Forehand overhead, you swing, and then you hop back, okay? Or if you land in this position, you can do one hop back. Same for overhead. You turn, and then you just hop back. You should be using shuffles almost all the time when you're returning into the center court. It's okay if you don't return all the way to the center court. You don't need to. You can return 70 to 80% to the center court, and that's enough. The only time you'll recover with crossovers is, let's say you're in a super deep position over here, and you know for sure the shot's already gone out. You need to run this big cross court. Then you can cross over and run. But other than that, when you're playing more neutrally, or pretty much for everyone watching, I want you to get into the habit of just shuffling for all your shots. Mistake number 3 is standing flat-footed. So let me show you what flat-footed is. So this is standing on your toes, this is standing flat-footed, and this is standing on your heels, which is the worst. First of all, let me exaggerate a little bit and go onto my heels and show you why it's not good to stand flat-footed or on your heels. Well, when we are standing on our toes, we are in a very ready position. You see, if I'm on my toe on one foot, I can go in every direction, right? My toe turns in every direction, meaning I can push this way, I can push this way, I can push this way, I can push every direction when I'm on my toes. Now, oppositely, what happens when we go onto our heels? Well, look, if I go onto my heel right here, I can push back, yeah, that's fine. I can push some variations back, but once I start wanting to go forward, how's that gonna work? I can't, right? I just stay in spot. If I wanna go sideways, I can't. So staying on our toes gives us more direction in movement. Another thing is, just imagine, like, if we were running sprints across, how do we generate power off the floor? When we run sprints, we push off the floor every time, right? We strike. When have you ever seen a runner run on their heels on their flat foot like this? Probably not. So the reason that we want to stay on our toes is it gives us more direction and mobility. Second is it gives us a more usage of our whole body. If we were to use our heel, you see our legs is in a tense position and we can't actually push off. But if we're on our toes, we can use our entire body to bounce and push off. Which leads to the third point, it gives us much more power generation. Because when we're able to use our whole body like this and stay on our toes, we're able to strike the ground and push off fast. So adding together what that will look like with our first and second mistake, which is our footwork and recovery, not being on our toes will look something like this. If I'm on my heels, right? I'm slow, I'm chunky, I can barely move, I'm covering very little of the court. If I stay on my toes, it gives me mobility, power, and it'll look like this. Another big reason for staying on your toes is your activation of muscles will prevent injury. If you're a flat-footed player, like Shirya was, I'm somewhat flat-footed as well. The more flat-footed you are, or the more on your heel you are, the less muscles you're using to support your ankles and your legs. So When you're playing badminton, you also want to prevent injury by activating as much supporting possible as what? Activating as much supporting muscles as possible. So one test you should do is go on your heels and try bouncing like this. You feel no muscles activating, right? Now go on your toes and feel what is the position where you feel the most activation throughout your entire body. And that's the feeling you want to have when you're running your footwork. Okay, time out guys, I need a coffee break. It's not easy talking in a row like this. Whew. If you guys appreciate the effort I'm putting into these videos, then please like, comment, subscribe, and also join our YouTube memberships because we will never charge you for education ever. Okay, let me take a break and I'll be right back with tips 4 and 5. The fourth mistake that you're making is overcommitment to one side. Okay, let's say you serve this side, right? Cross court to my right over here. You think they're gonna hit straight, so you move your entire body over here to try to anticipate it. But now, you've left the court so open. Badminton is the fastest racket sport in the world. How do we move quickly on the court? Well, the court is very small, like I keep saying. It's not about how fast you can run, it's about how fast you can change direction. Because it's much slower to change direction than it is to run forward and back. If you're coming out to this side, usually you're coming out while they're hitting. So you're already traveling your momentum to one side. And to change your momentum back and shift to another side is very painful. Second, of course, is if you're moving over here, it's really awkward to hit shots. One is you leave the rest of your court open. Second is you never practice to hit shots in this position. Like if they smash a normal down the line, are you gonna hit it so tight to your body? No, because when we practice, we always practice extending our arm in every direction. So we want to anticipate, but we don't want to overcommit our footwork. What is the difference between anticipation and commitment of footwork? Well, commitment of footwork or overcommitment is when you start moving before they hit. Reactive, which is not so good. Anticipation is when you can predict we're going to hit. For example, if you think they're gonna hit here, you're gonna start adjusting your foot a little bit, but you're not moving, so that when they do hit here, you can push out fast. Or for example, if they're gonna hit to the forehand net and you think they're going to hit there at a pretty high likelihood, you can start adjusting your foot to start facing that direction. If they hit here, good. Boom, you push out, you get it high. If they don't hit there, you can still adjust and go for every other shot. So when we commit, let's not confuse commitment with anticipation. Because if you overcommit your footwork to a certain direction, you have a very high chance of losing points in other directions. We want to anticipate and allocate percentages of where we want to move. If we think they're going to hit 70% this side, we put our attention 70% this side and leave the rest 30%, but only our attention and not our footwork. So even though if our guess is wrong, we can still move in every other direction. But if our guess is right, you don't need to be ahead to get that winning point. All you need to be in badminton is 10% more ready than your opponent, and you will already put your opponent out of position. So remember, always anticipate with direction, but don't overcommit with movement. Mistake number 5 is lunge recovery. Now, we want to end it with one of the most basic tips that you guys, I don't know why it's so hard to do. Is it counterintuitive? Who knows? But this is when we lunge out for our front nets, or it could be our side nets, or it could be our back nets. But mainly, it's going to be from our front nets. So when we lunge out like this for our net shots, what a lot of you guys like to do is a few things. One is you push up directly from this position, you lose balance, and you come back. Another, what you do is you just fall forward, and then your foot comes past, and then you walk back. Now, what's the most ideal way to do it is when you lunge out, okay? You see, in a stretch position like this, it's very hard for me to push back all the way. I have to apply so much force that I lose balance. Or a lot of you guys just come past and lose balance again. What's the most important thing about badminton that we keep mentioning is staying in position so that we can keep getting the next shot. So how do we stay in position after lunge? We lunge out. What we want to do is recover just a little bit so our momentum is more neutral again. And then, like we learned in mistake number 2, we shuffle back into position. This is how we keep our balance the most. Now it's going to be the same for every direction. If I come out to our backhand side, we come out, we lunge, right? Big lunge. recover into position where we can then shuffle back. Now, it's a little bit different from the sides and the back. So let's see. So our forehand, we come out, we come over here, right? In this position, we can also shuffle a little bit, come inside, and then hop back. For our backhand side, we turn, lunge, we can bring it back a little bit and then turn. Now this is more of a unique case. You see, we turned, we could push back like this, but you have to make that big motion when we lose balance. But if we can come in just a little bit, we are in balance again to turn back. So again, focusing on having a lot of balance. Now what about our deep shots in our forehand and backhand? Same concept, we come deep forehand, we hit. You see, if I would push up in this position, out of balance. So I recover a little bit and then I come back. So the most important thing about doing the lunges is you're doing these partial recoveries so that you retain your balance and neutralize your momentum before you return to the center of the court. So those are 5 common beginner badminton footwork mistakes that are probably ruin your badminton game. If you can fix all of these, you can probably play at a pretty competitive level. Now, how do you fix all of these? Well, this video was just an overview of all the mistakes you're making. If you really want to fix it, you're gonna have to watch through our footwork mistake videos or our live tutorial lessons on this channel. Also, if you guys want to come take lessons on this channel, then if you're ever in Vancouver, if you want to come here, we will never charge for education online or offline. So if you come here, I will teach you for free. All we ask is that if you can, please support us in making more videos for you and teaching you by joining our YouTube memberships.